It's a monster typhoon, I think.
It's a monster typhoon, I think.
Yung inaano ko lang dun, yung
Yolanda
kasi,
was
yung
a
Typhoon
situation
Yolanda,
of
parang
survival
nabibase
of
ko
the
siya na
fittest.
parang hugutan na to.
If one is
Parang
lucky, one
kung
will
swerte ka,
survive.
mabubuhay ka.
If
Pag
not,
malas ka,
one
pupunin ka
dies.
talaga. Parang dun,
Yolanda
monster
was a
talaga
real
tong,
monster,
parang
like
dragon. Yung
a dragon.
Spirited dragon.
Hindi ko po nakita yung pagdating po ng...
I didn't see the big waves from the sea because we were in the elementary school, which seemed to be very far from the sea. We could tell the water was coming from the ocean because it was salty. Then we became very alarmed, especially because I was with my baby boy. I was afraid because I've had 3 miscarriages already. I was really afraid of the big flood.
I told them, water, there's water here. They didn't want to open the door. They said that objects are flying around and we might get hit. I said that we should go out at once since the water was rising. We have kids. I don't know how to swim. I thought, we're going to die here. The water was chest level. I couldn't stop crying.
The Typhoon Haiyan, Yolanda, was quite unique in the sense that we have grown in the Philippines dealing with typhoons, but when I saw for myself, the effect, the day it hit, I was watching television, I could not believe. I thought I had seen already all the typhoons that could be seen, but said, wow, we are entering a new phase where our daily existence, especially of the vulnerable along the coastal areas, could not be presumed anymore.
I could not see my house anymore. When we went back, it was full of water, and there were no houses left standing. The land around our house was like a lake. We were really sad. We are living in a tent made out of tarps with plastic for the floor. It gets very hot, and insects, and especially rats, can easily get inside. Water also gets inside easily. It's so hot, we're like bread in an oven. We can't stay inside very long. It's like being roasted. We had no idea how to get help or where to ask.
Development and Peace, Caritas Canada, responds immediately to Typhoon Haiyan, and Canadians give generously in support of relief efforts. With 25 years' experience in the Philippines, Development and Peace calls on its longtime partners like UPA, the Urban Poor Associates, and PETA, the Philippine Educational Theater Association, to go beyond regular disaster response and give power to the powerless. This is the journey of 550 families that rebuild their community and transform their lives with support from Development and Peace.
Araw sa tag-ulan, konting ulan dilubyo na. Kung uminit, hayem pera ba? Yan daw ang bagong klima. May kinalaman ba tayo sa kakaibang kaganapang ito? Ang mundo ay parang tao.
Jolie Torrella is a community organizer with Urban Poor Associates. He arrives in Tacloban with colleague Jessa Margalo 4 months after the storm to work with poor coastal communities that have lost everything and are at risk of eviction.
Basically, I saw depression when the moment I stepped in here in Tacloban. The trauma is still there. When it shows when you ask them about what happened to Yolanda. Tears are still pouring in. They are living in the no-build zone, so their houses are, it's either tent or shanties. Shanties means that they got their housing materials from salvage materials. So they got it on the streets. So their living condition is very poor. The typhoon doesn't only destroy properties like houses, livelihood, it also destroys the structure in the community. So community organizing hopes to bring it back, so the structure in the community. Nagsisimula na.
We want to differentiate this between community organizing and community participation, because both governments and many humanitarian organizations, they keep on saying, okay, let's consult with the people. Let's bring the people together, and that's already called community participation. But in our case, the people are actually not only being organized, but are actually in charge of relief distribution, in charge of engaging the local government where the relief goods should be distributed, in charge of engaging the government where the reallocation should be conducted.
These are moments of very human growth, very humane responses. But we have to be vigilant all the time. That's why local communities must be formed, and they should get out of that mindset that we are here just to receive. They should also be given a fair share in the management of the efforts to rebuild their lives. They must be consulted. The models of development and the rebirth must be according to their culture, to their dreams, etc. And they should help monitor the efforts in their ground.
Yun po yung communal garden po namin.
We started making the community garden last March. We were having a hard time looking for food because the relief operation for food was about to end. So the Women's Association and UPA decided to build a garden and to use it as a source of income and food. We started building the community garden. We went to the Department of Agriculture to get free seeds. We were so happy when the plants started growing. We will no longer have a hard time to get food, especially since we know that our plants are safe to eat since no fertilizers are being used. It's delicious to eat from our own perseverance.
Ito po ay mga planting material para sa ating mga baboy, kambing. At ito rin ay pwede nating itanim doon sa po Francis Village kasi malaki ang component ng livestock doon.
If you look around, we're in Barangay 89, one of the hardest hit areas and one of the largest tent cities in Tacloban. We're organizing fisherfolk, pedicab drivers, and women. There were many resources, but they didn't know how to access them. How can we ask help from the government when we know they're not going to help us? So there's a need to organize so that the government can hear what their needs are. I cry because I've been here for quite long already. Some are saying that what we're doing is illegal because they think we're agitating the people to fight against the government. But it's not what we're doing. Instead, we teach people how to talk to the government, how to ask for help, demand their rights, and get what they deserve. I'm happy and overwhelmed to know that I'm still here, that I'm not giving up yet. I hope that in 1 or 2 years, they'll be able to build back their lives again. I hope they'll be able to use what we've shared with them, and they'll pass it on to their grandchildren. The importance of organizing.
So, yun, kung gaano kahalagang pag-organisa.
18 months after the storm, poor communities are still stuck in tents. Faced with government inaction, Development and Peace helps to provide temporary housing.
As you can see, there are so many development here. The people in tents are already transferred into a good house like this. So many partners join together to build at least transitory communities in where they can live happily, and so it gives them dignity. Actually, unlike in tents.
Ayaw nga sa'yo eh. Ka na ni Alin, dahil maitim ka na raw. Ano talaga kulay ng mga? Ayaw nga sa'yo eh, kasi banyo. May communal CR naman kami, pero parang hindi na kami lumalabas sa gabi sa pag-iihi. Nag-provide kami ng sariling banyo.
Baligid.
Circle of nine.
Okay na.
Pila na, pila rito, pila roon, pila na noon hanggang ngayon. Pila ba'y walang katapusan, pangangailang ay walang hangganan, hanggang kailan mapupunuan ating kakulangan. Ito na naman ang pila ng pasaklolot, pagbibigay ng tulong ng pag-ingit, pagtanggap. Pag-ingit, pagtanggap, puro na lang ako pakabig. Tama bang puro na lang tanggap? Tanggap ka ng tanggap, tanggap ka ng tanggap, ibigay ba ang sarili? Kung wala na itong silbi, sana mahanap ang lakas. Sa pila na, pila rito, pila roon, pila na noon hanggang ngayon. Pila ba'y walang katapusan, pangangailang ay walang hangganan, hanggang kailan mapupunuan ating kakulangan. Pila na!
One after another discussion with the government, they did not really produce any result, that they cannot provide the land, and the land that is available is so far from their livelihood. So we discussed with our partners, UPA, NASA, including the Redemptorists, who are also working in that community, and they said that really the only alternative right now is to find a piece of land. But there are 300,000 people that, that are displaced. So what can we do? And in the area alone, there are over 1,000 families that are living in the area where the UPA is organizing. So we said that, well, part of the work that we do is to provide example. Part of the work that we do is to provide a model, that this is the way to go in terms of reconstruction, but also development, the alternatives. So we said that if we're going to buy a piece of land, it would not just be a permanent shelter, but it would be integrated. And most of all, the people are fully in charge of that.
After many setbacks, Development and Peace succeeds in buying land just a few minutes from the city center, and the dream of a community-driven resettlement site is one step closer to reality. A visit from Pope Francis to Tacloban in January 2015 inspires the community to name the site the Pope Francis Village.
So this part is included, and also somewhere halfway through the slopes of the mountains, it will be graded. And that one, if you can see the 3 electric posts, that's also inside the site. So on the back of that, it's a steep cliff that's really around 90 degrees slope almost.
I thought it was that simple. Choose a lot, rank it according to its geological hazards, and then voila, you can purchase it. But it's not the case. There were a lot of negotiations that was done with the owners, and then with the transfer of titles and things like that. You have limited lots in Tacloban that are basically free from geohazard. Actually, there are no lots in Tacloban that are free from geologic hazards. You can only have lots that have minimal or geologic hazards that can be mitigated. And another thing is that not all of the lands are up for sale. And that's another factor. And one factor is that some lots are being sold at a higher price, and a price that is beyond the budget of the funders.
It's really challenging. It's like, oh, how are we going to build houses considering this kind of terrain? How are we going to make a safer community on this land? But I accepted the challenge because it's also a good thing for me to go out of the comfort zone.
Ito po ang aming report para sa Group 1. Ang aming napagkasunduan na 10 livelihood ay ang number 1 is rice retailer, botika, meat shop, food vending, fish vending, sari-sari store, parlor, and barber shop.
Nandito yung health center namin, kasi sinama-sama na lang dito kasi wala nang space yung ano namin Manila Painter. Ito ang market natin. Pag nandiyan ka sa market, syempre, bakit mo sinulat ng maliit?
What we do is we consult the community. Actually, it's a process. We conduct workshops to get their ideas, and then from that, we consolidate their ideas to come up with the design based on their design. It's not like we are the one who are imposing that, oh, you should have this one. So we don't do that. It's their ideas that we just turn into official drawings, but of course with the technical inputs included.
Napansin niyo kita yung landslide sa taas at lahat kayo ay halos lahat nagsasabi na maaaring mabawasan yung panganib sa landslide, matigas na yung pundasyon na yun. So Sa paggawa ng bahay dito kailangan mo pang i-compact, kailangan mo pang bawasan yung slope ng konti. Dito, papantayin na lang, matatayo na yung bahay. So kung yung bahay na ganito, halos marami dito sa inyo.
Ito ang sulat, ito ang empty sheet, ito ang pin. Kailangan nyo nito, magre-report. Hindi, mag-assign o magre-report. Magsusulat at magpapasilite. Okay? Sige.
May evacuation center kayo na pwedeng takbuhan. Yung mga nasa ilalim. Ayan, tama po. Yun, tama. Tapos kung ito naman, kung ito lalagyan natin sa tuktok, mahirap naman din. Dahil exposed naman siya masyado dun sa malalakas na hangin.
Ito naman naka-group ng bahay. Ito kasi dito nga portion, delikado ito dito. Because landslide prone ito iya. So kung pwede, at black for, ibabalhin natin. Kay landslide prone ito, kung mag-inuran, magkakatabunan ito ng mga balay.
Ito niya, Didi.
Okay na ito, Didi.
Group 6 po. Tara na.
Group number 2! Group number 3! Group number 4!
Will you be sad to leave?
May part na ano.
A little sadness to leave,
Part na lang kasi.
but more happiness that we have a place to go.
Pupuntahan na kami, mas
A better house for our children's future.
Para rin naman yun sa mga
They'll be happier there.
ng mga anak namin. Mas
At last, I can have a house. My dream house.
Yung dream house ko pa, kung ano yung gusto kong bahay, yun pa yung
I'll get to choose the house I want.
tinatanong kami kung ano yung mga dream house namin.
They ask us, what is our kind of dream house?
Nila sa amin na
So everything's fair. Things will be different there because we'll be a model community.
As a model community doon.
No place for trouble.
Hindi na,
We'll
yung
leave
mga ano dito,
all that behind.
yung mga away-away,
We
dapat
must
iwanan na,
unite
wala na.
and
Isa
help
na
one
yan.
another.
Dapat magkaisa na lang, magtulungan.
Yung ibang NGO nagsalita,
The other organizations don't do what they say.
parang puro lang sila,
They are full of
puro lang
promises.
sila pangako. Kaya nung pumasok nga
At
yung
first,
urban
when
tinignan
UPA
muna
came,
namin, baka
we
ano
observed.
naman to, puro pangako din
We
naman
thought,
to.
this is just
Pero nung
another set
nasubukan
of
namin,
promises.
yung sinabi nilang, may proyekto
When they
kaming
talk
ganito,
about starting up the project,
sabi, sige,
when we
pwede
saw how they
mag-project
went
kayong
about
ganyan.
it,
Nung nakita namin
we thought that
talagang
it could be true.
pinursyo talaga nilang gawin yun, parang totoo
And when they
to.
asked for
Tapos
our
nung
help,
hiningi nila yung tulong namin,
it proved that we could
talagang
trust them
napatunayan namin na
compared to the other NGOs.
pagkakatiwalaan to kaysa dun sa ibang NGO.
Masaya.
Along with Helen, my fellow geologists, we'd always ask ourselves, do you want to live in this place? And I guess for the lot that we selected, yes, I would like to live in this place. This has a very good aura, no? And this place has a very good potential. When we brought the beneficiaries to the site, that's exactly what they experienced. I mean, you have a nice view of the sea, and then you have very cool breeze running through your body. A lot of them just sort of wanted to stay there. And I was telling them, oh, let's go home, it's getting dark. But they were just standing there. And at that brief moment, they felt how it feels like to own something that is very precious, or that piece of land ideally is reserved for high-end subdivisions. And there you have victims of Yolanda. There you have fishermen, poor people who can now own a piece of land that is usually a piece of land that is owned by rich people.
So this yellow here are the for spaces for the livelihoods, like local market or any kind of livelihood they want to put up, as long as it's in the beside the road for easy access from other communities. And this is the main road. And then they put the chapel here. It's actually an elevated part, so that once you enter the site, it's the focal point, the chapel. So this represents the houses or the lots. The community prefer like a quadruplex house. So we put it this way for them to know that it's quadruplex design.
Which is ngayon yung PFB na yung Francisco. Yung pag-select kasi ng
In selecting those who will be moving to the site, one has to be active in the homeowners association. You need to have savings. You must know how to garden and need to be involved in the livestock and rice enterprises. That is the selection process. But there is also the Urban Development Act that says that one has to be the poorest of the poor. One has to be Filipino. You cannot be a landowner anywhere in the Philippines. You need to own nothing.
In August 2015, hopeful that construction will soon begin, Development and Peace and its partners hold a groundbreaking ceremony for the Pope Francis Village, which also includes construction of an extension to the local elementary school.
Sakit ang nangyari, ipapayagang maulit. Kung mangyari muli, handa na at pati. Iipawan ang anumang lumbay, harapin ang buhay ng kapit-kamay. Pananampalataya ang gagabay, pag-asa at pag-ibig ang kaakay. Bigyang halaga ang buhay, tiyaking ligtas kabuhayan at kalusugan. Ilangin ng likas na yaman, magba't maghanda. Alamin ang batas, pairalin at sundin. Panganib maiwasan, padayon sa paghahanda. Bawat unos humuhupa, padayon ang pag-asa. Patuloy mga hamon, padayon sa pagbangon. Sabay-sabay, sama-sama, tayo'y kumihilos. Padayon, padayon, kwentong bayan ng pagkakaisa, ng pagbangon, ng pag-ibig. At ang kwento nila'y tulad ng sa atin, nagsimula na sa pagbangon ay kwentong bayan ng pagkakaisa, ng pagbangon, ng pag-ibig. At ang kwento nila'y tulad ng sa atin, nagsimula na padayon, padayon, padayon.
While we did buy this almost 13 hectares of land, we said at the very beginning that it's also government's responsibility. So we the people have been also trying to engage the government to make a contribution. And luckily, we realized at the beginning when we were starting to plan the new community, the new village, we found out that the terrain is not friendly. There were many slopes, and that would cost us another millions of dollars to do just the land grading and land development, the cut and fill. So we're able to, it took some time for the government to respond. That's why there was a big delay, almost 6 months delay for the president even to sign that 2-page document for the release of funds. Because what we're trying to do is not just to build back better, but also for people to bounce back better, because there will be another disaster because of the climate change that's happening.
Since we were able to submit all the documents that they require, we thought that it will start by December. So we thought that all the heavy equipments needed will come by December, and then there was none. Also, the DSWD, they said that the funds for the houses are ready for giving to the community members, but as of now, they still have many requirements that the organization needs to comply. So that's one of the setbacks for the project. When the project is like almost in a standstill, although there is a progress, but not the progress we want to. So we were questioning, is this going to continue? Even the community are asking us, architect, when will our houses be constructed? And we are also like, we don't also have the answer because we are waiting for the land to be developed, and we don't know when will that be because of the late support of the government.
What the government has accomplished, I think it's less than 1%. They've only spent less than 50% of the funds that were allocated for the Yolanda Haiyan survivors. People were getting impatient because it was a long process of consultation. There was a temptation even at the beginning to say, well, why don't we just hire a contractor? And then they will come in, build the houses. But as we saw, as we witnessed in many of these housing that the government and the humanitarian organizations have constructed, people are abandoning them. There is also the sense of people are now confident. The amazing thing that I saw is not to see the new school, the new houses, but the confidence of the people, the self-esteem, the community that was created. I was really touched in one of the discussion, in one of the sessions we had with the people. They're still mourning, with the loss of their husband, their friends. And they said that we lost many friends, we lost our husbands, but we found new friends in this community.
Good afternoon, children and mothers. We're here to visit the new school being built over the last year. Are you excited to see where the school is being built?
Mga bata, nakikita niyo ba sila? Sila yung gumagawa ng...
Children, do you see them? They're the ones building your new school. They're making sure that the building is solid. So when you start going to school, the building will withstand typhoons or earthquakes, because we're making sure that the school is being built according to construction standards. Men and women are working here. There's no such thing as a woman who can't work in construction. We work equally.
Gusto ko talagang maging part.
I really wanted to be part of this project. Actually, I'm not moving into one of the houses. It's my mother-in-law who will be. Even if I'm not a beneficiary, I'm happy to be part of this project. Previously, I did not imagine myself working in the field of construction. But I found that the work is fun, even if it is difficult. And we learn a lot.
Marami kang natututunan.
Dito talaga ang gusto ko kasi minsan sa bahay nga akong gumagawa. Siguro namin na hindi ito substandard na paggawa. Dahil kami talaga ang gumagawa.
Talagang mahirap na trabaho pero kahit mga babae kami pinapakita namin sa mga kalalakihan na kaya namin. Kung ano yung kaya nila, kaya rin namin gawin.
What a man gets to do, a woman gets to do.
Once the Philippine president finally signs the paperwork, the funds for the roads and infrastructure are released, and construction can move forward. In November 2016, 3 years after Haiyan, the new school building and the first batch of houses are inaugurated.
For and behalf of Scandinavian Elementary School, I humbly accept this donation. School building, the Pope Francis Learning Center with pride and honor. We are going to ensure the safety and the maintenance of the school building and of course ensure the security of the school learners who will be most benefited of this project. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Alright, so our Francis Learning Center. Our inaugural budget. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so our first batch of model houses are being inaugurated. Marami pong salamat.
In you, every dwelling grows into holy temple. Grant that those who live in these houses may be built up together into the dwelling places of God and the Holy Spirit, we pray.
Nung napunta ako sa bahay na to, ang dami kong natutunan ni experience mula sa construction.
From this housing project, I learned a lot from the experiences, starting with the construction, which I had no knowledge of. So it seems we have become the community leaders. We have become the engineers. We have become the architects. It feels like we went from grade school to college level. It seems like we passed some board exam. It makes us feel good, right? Due to UPA, we were able to build excellent housing that we in the community were part of. To UPA, thank you very much. To all our partners, a big, big thank you for all your support for our new houses. And we hope that you won't give up your support for us. In the end, we will support you also.
Salamat nariyan na manonoha. Yan na. Ikahanap ko lang sa iyo ang sunod na
Ang pinakabayani sa lahat ng mga ginagawa.
The real heroes in this project are not the funders and not the supporters, but the people themselves who struggled and worked for their own betterment, right? Who are the actors here? The communities that work together, right? To achieve their dreams in life, the life they dream of. They said, this is our dream housing, our dream community. So it's them. They're the heroes here.
6 units. If I'm not mistaken, 6 units of houses have been completed. They're functional, in move-in condition, and blessed by the priest with the community as witnesses. It's important that the community witness the blessing because it's not just about the priest. It's about the future owners seeing the fruit of their labor being blessed.
Anong gagawin sa mga greenery? Pauwi na yan mamaya kasi wala na din silang ginagawa. Makikita nyo, tinatanggal na yung mga upuan, mga mesa. Yan, yun na. Tutuwa na lang.